Good to see you all, as always. Obviously, very disappointing to come out U.S. Bank Stadium and leave with a loss, but, I felt like there was a lot of good things that we did. 360 yards total offense, 6.6 yards a play or something like that. It was there. We just kept shooting ourselves in the foot. And, I take full responsibility for the pre-snap, procedural penalties. We got 3 turnovers and just, too many things that, don't set us up for success, when the clock hits 0. So we just got to go back to work, watch this film, and, really clean up all the little things because that's what hurt us today.
J.J., you said you take responsibility for pre-snap. It's like why or what did you see that was leading to all of the pre-snap penalties?
As a quarterback, you're the orchestrator of the orchestra. I take full responsibility for anything that happens on that field, and at the end of the day, it's just the little things that we got to keep focusing on. The focus, the competitive stamina. It's all got to be there. But I take full responsibility every single time something goes wrong.
Did you feel like it was a cadence thing, or I guess was there a theme? Do you feel like?
To be honest with you, I have no idea, Alec. I just feel like, there's little things that show up that you don't prepare for, and we just got to do a better job responding when things go that way. So, yeah, but it's all on me.
J.J., just in terms of the connection with Jaylen Naylor, why do you think that worked today?
I said it since week 1. Speedy was going to show up one of these days, and showed up last week on the big play on 3rd and 5, and had a heck of a game today. But he's somebody that always just sticks to his process, does all the little things right, does the dirty work, and doesn't complain at all. And he's a tremendous football player. Absolutely love the human being that he is. And there's going to be a lot more games like that for Speedy Nailor.
Do you any common threads for why you had that many balls tipped at the line of scrimmage or batted down?
I think they did a great job defensively. I feel like they used, the big guys up front to, give a little push and then just, get eyes up, ready to swat the ball down. And, I got to do a better job of making sure that I'm aware of that. And, when I step up in the pocket, don't get too close to those guys and, work on all the different arm angles. But at the end of the day, they just were a great defense. And, it was a great test for us as an offense to be able to see what it looks like against a great AFC team. And, we just got to not allow those little things like that and pre-snap penalties to have an effect on our offense.
J.J., Kevin talked a little bit about you might have been using a little more hard count today. Obviously, you can do that at home. When you're having issues with false starts and that kind of thing, do you change how much you go to the hard count knowing that that's been an issue for the offensive line during the game?
I feel like the defense thinks the same way when it comes to that. So it's just the level of focus. Like, it's as simple as remember the snap count and execute it when the ball is snapped. And, we pride ourselves as, a great offense. And those little things, those foundational things, we just got to always make sure we're consistent with those. So, regardless of what happens, we just got to, maintain that focus for 60 minutes.
J.J., is there anything you could do differently, going into the half? You guys had the ball, could have scored, and then you could have scored coming out of the half.
Yeah.
Went opposite for you guys.
For sure, yeah. I thought it was a beautiful example for me to learn from because, last week when Barnes sacked me in my red zone, that was a time to throw the ball away. And this was a time to take a sack, with 40 seconds left, keep that clock running, make them use a timeout or something like that. It's just all things about, growing in this great game of football and all experiences that I take that data and collect it and then use it for the next time.
You're talking about the 2nd and 5, or was it 3rd and 5?
I think it was 3rd down.
Yeah,
but I threw it away.
And you're just trying to get it back to the line of scrimmage, just take the sack there.
Yeah, just take the sack. Keep the clock running. Yeah.
How do you learn that? I mean, you probably know that, but whenever things are going so haywire, it's just instinct, I guess. At what point does the quarterback learn that that's what you should have done and do it?
I feel like the greatest learning tool for anybody, regardless of position, regardless of profession, is experience. And, this is my 4th football game. This is the first time I've been in a situation like that where, it was take a sack or throw it away. So I feel like, it's just the first opportunity where I could collect that data and then use it for the next time.
JJ, as you look back on that game right now, are there any throws or decisions that maybe stick out to you that you want back?
There's a lot of them. I just feel like, there's so much on the tape that it's going to reveal, but the amount of tip balls that happened today at the line of scrimmage, those are just absolutely killer, and it's a credit to them up front. They played a tremendous game. They had a tremendous game plan, threw the kitchen sink at us in terms of coverage, pressures, new looks. But yeah, it's just the little things like that. I think it's the worst play in football, a tip ball at the line of scrimmage, but that's what it is, and I definitely want those back.
JJ, the deep ball, 3rd and 1 to I think it was Justin coming out of the half. What are you seeing there?
Zero coverage, one-on-one, and I have the greatest receiver in the world, so I don't care who it is out there. I'm going to give him a chance, and I didn't see him fall. It's just one of those things where he catches it and it's great. He doesn't, it's incomplete, or it's an interception and it's a punt. There's different things where that could lead to that outcome, but 10 times out of 10, I'm going to give him a shot.
JJ, what have you gotten from Aaron Jones, like just the spark that he seems to be giving you guys, and a luxury for you as a young quarterback to have a back making plays like that?
Tremendous leader, first off, before he even steps on the field making plays. He's just got that exuberant energy, just so pure-hearted, and you know exactly what he's feeling. You know exactly what he's asking out of you, and just the spark he gives to our offense in the run game, as well as Jordan Mason. It's just tremendous, and the way he hits that hole straight downhill, as fast as he can at 100 miles an hour, it's awesome to see. And in the past game, he's tremendous as well. But just gotta keep rolling, and he'll be the first one to say, we just got to keep rolling. So, I appreciate you guys, but we can't have these anymore. We got to be better, and I promise we're going to work to do that.
JJ, Aaron Jones said that there were a couple times where he heard the Ravens trying to call snap. Did that have an effect on you guys at all, or is that anything you heard?
That's something I don't really try to dip my toe into. At the end of the day, it's moving when the ball snapped, and we just got to be more locked in, more focused on those little things, and not shoot ourselves in the foot, and we'll see where we get. Thank you guys.